This message didn't find you by accident. Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, and God said, "It's time to release what was promised." My beloved light bearer, this message didn't find you by accident. You were divinely summoned here, called by name, through the winds of heaven. Archangel Michael himself spoke your name in the chambers of light, and God declared, "It's time to release what was promised." For too long, you have felt a quiet stirring in your spirit, that something is shifting, but you couldn't quite name it. This is not your imagination. This is a divine signal. The heavens have moved, timelines have aligned, and your name has been etched into the scroll of release. Archangel Michael stands before the throne, holding the record of what has been delayed in your life, and heaven has finally whispered, "Now." Child of promise, the very things that were once blocked, opportunities, blessings, relationships, abundance, are no longer being withheld. Archangel Michael is cutting through the cords that tied your destiny down. You may have felt forgotten, but heaven has been preparing. The silence was not punishment, it was strategy. You were hidden, not denied. And now, the trumpet sound has been released in the spirit realm. The angelic armies are being dispatched. You might not see them, but their movement will soon be undeniable. Sudden breakthroughs, unexpected messages, divine alignments that make no earthly sense. Hold your heart steady. You are entering the hour of divine reversal. Everything that was stolen will now return sevenfold. Every tear you shed became a seed, and now the harvest is breaking open. Archangel Michael says, "Do not fear what left, for what is coming carries heaven's signature." Before you scroll away, wait, because what's coming next in this revelation will make your spirit tremble. The very promise you thought died is about to breathe again. Type "I receive my promise" in the comments if this word is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 1188 is now activated for those who believe. Chosen vessel of light. As Archangel Michael moves through the corridors of time, the atmosphere around your life is shifting. You may not yet see it with your natural eyes, but the spiritual climate around you is no longer the same. What once felt heavy, uncertain, or delayed is now trembling under the power of divine release. The heavens are aligning to deliver what was written over your destiny long before you took your first breath. There is a sacred scroll with your name engraved upon it, sealed with the fire of God, and Archangel Michael now holds it in his hands. He stands as your defender, the warring angel who has never lost a battle. He remembers every cry, every sleepless night, every moment you whispered, "God, have you forgotten me?" And he responds with authority, "You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. You were being strengthened for what others could not carry." The delay was never denial. It was divine timing, refining your faith to be able to sustain the promise that is now coming to pass. Archangel Michael wants you to know that the adversary tried to intercept this release. There were forces assigned to confuse, distract, and delay your awakening. But heaven's decree has now been spoken. The resistance has expired. Every demonic interference sent against your peace, your purpose, and your provision has now been struck down by the sword of truth. The same sword that cut through the rebellion in heaven is now cutting through the confusion surrounding your life. There is something powerful unfolding even now. Some of you will notice sudden peace where there was anxiety. Some will see unexpected favor where doors were once slammed shut. Others will feel a supernatural boldness rising inside them, a courage that feels almost unfamiliar. This is not coincidence. It is the manifestation of Michael's presence in your atmosphere. You are standing on the edge of what was promised, and every force of light is working to ensure it reaches you. But hear this carefully, When the promise begins to arrive, it will not come in the form you expect. God often wraps destiny inside discomfort, blessing inside battle, and purpose inside pain. Do not be quick to reject what feels unfamiliar, for inside it lies your divine answer. Archangel Michael says, "Receive before you understand, for revelation follows obedience." This is a moment to walk by faith, not by sight. Hold on, because what you are about to hear next will uncover the hidden reason God waited until now to release this promise. You'll understand why the timing had to be perfect, and why it's happening in this exact season of your life. Type "I receive the divine timing" in the comments if your spirit bears witness to this message. Blessing code 2201 is now active for those who trust the process. Beloved one of heaven, the moment you have been sensing in your spirit is here. This is not imagination. This is divine confirmation. Archangel Michael has been standing guard at the threshold of your promise, waiting for the word from the Most High to move. And that word has now been released. The season of containment has ended. What was once locked behind invisible barriers is now being pushed into manifestation. There is movement in the unseen realm, and if you listen closely within your spirit, you can almost hear the rustle of angelic wings preparing your atmosphere for breakthrough. God says, "I am releasing what was promised, but it will come wrapped in responsibility." This means the blessing you have been praying for will demand a new version of you to handle it. You cannot carry a new promise with an old mindset. That is why the waiting season was so long. Heaven was strengthening your foundation. Archangel Michael whispers, you were being trained for the weight of your destiny. Every delay, every disappointment, every closed door was heaven's way of fortifying your spirit for what is about to open now. Do not be surprised when the very place of your pain becomes the place of your power. The same people who once died, you will witness your elevation. And this time, no human hand will be able to interfere with what God is doing. The release that's coming is not dependent on approval, position, or connection. It is a direct response to divine timing. Archangel Michael is holding the key that unlocks what was spiritually sealed, and as he turns that key, chains in the invisible world are shattering. Something extraordinary is happening around you. You might begin to notice divine acceleration. Things that used to take years will suddenly happen in weeks or even days. The reason is simple. You have crossed a prophetic line. You have stepped into a new realm of favor where heaven's economy overrides the limitations of the earth. Archangel Michael says, you will not need to chase what has already been assigned to you. When heaven releases something, it finds you. And now, the Spirit of God is saying, prepare your vessel. What is about to enter your life will demand purity of intention, humility of heart, and consistency in faith. The promise will not only bless you, it will bless nations through you. You were chosen to carry the light of transformation, to be the testimony that God still fulfills His word. Do not minimize yourself for what is coming. This is the hour you were created for. Before you look away, stay with this message, because what unfolds next will reveal why heaven waited for this exact moment in your timeline. You will see how divine protection was quietly surrounding you, even when you thought everything was falling apart. If this word is stirring something inside your spirit, type "I am chosen" in the comments right now. Blessing code 4414 is being released over every believer who declares it with faith. Now take a sacred moment. Like, comment, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because your act of sharing may be the very thing that saves another soul from giving up before their promise arrives. Subscribe to this channel, so every divine message from heaven finds you on time. Child of light, if this message has awakened your faith, understand this: Every word shared here is a seed of divine truth being sown across the world. Archangel Michael's mission through this channel is not entertainment. It is warfare for souls. When you choose to give through Super Thanks membership or the PayPal link in the description, you are not just supporting a platform. You are empowering the gospel to travel into places where darkness still rules. God says in this hour, those who sow into the light will harvest under open heavens. I am personally inviting you to be part of that prophetic movement. Your seed becomes a sword, breaking chains in the unseen realm. Every giver will stand under an open portal of divine favor. Do not delay. Release your seed in obedience and watch how heaven multiplies it back to you. So now, and let the fire of your faith ignite the world. Dearest carrier of divine promise, there is a trembling in the heavens as your name continues to be spoken in the courts of light. Archangel Michael stands before the throne, reporting every act of faith, every hidden prayer, and every moment you chose to believe even when nothing made sense. Heaven has taken record of your endurance, and now the reward of that faith is drawing near. You are standing in a moment that was prophesied over your life long before you were born. Every divine delay was heaven's way of synchronizing your destiny with divine order. There are times you felt as though your prayers hit the ceiling, times when silence made you question whether God still heard you. But Archangel Michael reveals that during those very moments, angelic activity around you was at its highest. When you cried alone, angels were positioning people, resources, and timing in your favor. What looked like stillness was actually preparation. Heaven does not forget those who remain faithful in silence. The quiet seasons were not empty. They were pregnant with destiny. Now, as the gates of release open, God's word over your life begins to unfold with precision. You will start noticing patterns, repeated signs, familiar numbers, sudden confirmations in unexpected places. These are not coincidences. They are markers of movement. Each sign is a whisper from the divine, reminding you that the promise is closer than you think. Archangel Michael says, "Do not underestimate the small signs, for they are the footsteps of angels announcing fulfillment." You have entered a divine hour where heaven is calling you to alignment. This means certain people, places, and habits may begin to fade from your life. Do not fight this pruning. It is protection. Archangel Michael is clearing your path of all that cannot accompany you into this next phase. The higher the calling, the smaller the circle becomes. The Spirit of God is removing distractions that could dilute your focus. Every departure, every closed door, every sudden distance is orchestrated by divine intelligence. As the release draws near, spiritual sensitivity becomes essential. God is whispering specific instructions that will require your immediate obedience. The next blessing is not random. It is strategic. You will be guided to take steps that make no logical sense, and yet, as you follow them, hidden doors will begin to open. Archangel Michael's sword is blazing, cutting through deception, ensuring that what was promised reaches you uncontaminated. Now listen carefully, for this is crucial. Do not speak prematurely about what God is doing in you. Some things must remain hidden until they are complete. The enemy cannot attack what he cannot see. Guard your revelation until heaven makes it public. The secret place is your strongest fortress in this season. Before you scroll away, stay with me, because the next message will reveal the precise moment heaven decided to activate your promise. What happens next will make you see that none of your pain was wasted. Type "I receive my divine alignment" in the comments if your heart feels this truth. Lesson code 5529 is now released over those who walk in obedience. Precious one of the covenant, you have reached the hour when the unseen begins to take form. The promise that once felt distant is now standing at the door of your reality. Archangel Michael has completed his assignment of clearing the path that was cluttered with invisible resistance. What was once clouded is becoming clear, and the atmosphere around you is shifting with divine precision. Heaven has moved from preparation to manifestation. This is not a distant prophecy anymore. It is unfolding in your timeline right now. For years, you have carried the weight of prayers that seemed unanswered, prophecies that seemed delayed, and dreams that felt forgotten. But God was not ignoring you. He was incubating something that needed the right hour to be born. There are promises that cannot arrive too early, for early arrival would destroy their power. Archangel Michael says, "You were hidden to be revealed in fullness." Every setback was secretly aligning your season of unveiling. Every no you received was heaven's way of preserving your yes. This new phase will not arrive quietly. Expect sudden shifts, unexpected phone calls, doors reopening that once shut without explanation, divine encounters that confirm what your spirit already knows. There is an orchestration in motion so intricate that even if you tried to explain it, others would not understand. The Spirit of God is weaving every strand of your story into one perfect design, and the finishing touch is being applied now. Archangel Michael has declared, "It is time." But understand this truth: every divine promise carries a divine test. Just before release, distractions intensify. Not everything that approaches you in this season is meant to be accepted. The enemy often sends imitation blessings right before the authentic one arrives, hoping you will settle for less. Archangel Michael warns, discern the difference between opportunity and trap. Ask yourself, does this draw me closer to peace or deeper into confusion? True promises of God bring clarity, not chaos. And when the manifestation begins, remain grounded in gratitude. Do not let the excitement of blessing replace the reverence of obedience. Gratitude is the magnet that sustains what heaven releases. The more you thank, the more you receive. Remember, your promise is not just for you. It is a light for others trapped in darkness. God has chosen your testimony to ignite faith in those who have forgotten how to hope. Keep listening, for what comes next will reveal the precise reason heaven waited until this year to release what was promised. The revelation that follows will make every delay make sense. Do not step away now. What you will hear next carries a secret that few are permitted to understand. Type "I walk in my promise" in the comments if your spirit is ready to move with heaven. Blessing code 6647 is now released upon those stepping into manifestation. Beloved vessel of divine light, there are seasons when heaven speaks through thunder, and there are seasons when heaven speaks through silence. You have just emerged from a silent season, one where heaven's voice felt distant, yet every moment was carefully documented by the angels who walked beside you. Archangel Michael has revealed that the silence was never absence. It was sacred observation. The divine was watching your faith, measuring your endurance, and waiting for the exact spiritual temperature to rise before the promise could break open. What you are entering now is not just a new chapter, but a divine unveiling of hidden purpose. You may not realize it, but the battles you faced recently were the final stage of preparation. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment you questioned your strength, it was all refining you for authority. God never anoints without testing, and every tear you shed became oil for the calling on your life. Archangel Michael says, "The fire did not come to destroy you. It came to reveal what cannot be burned." You have been purified by the very pain that once tried to break you. And now, you carry a new fragrance of faith that commands attention in the spiritual realm. This is why some people suddenly feel uncomfortable around you. The light that once flickered inside you has become a flame that exposes hidden motives. Do not shrink back to make others feel safe in your presence. You were not called to blend in. You were called to stand out as a living testimony of divine resilience. Archangel Michael reminds you that humility is not silence when God calls you to speak. Your voice carries authority because it has been birthed through endurance. When you speak now, heaven listens, and darkness trembles. In this unfolding season, divine instructions will come swiftly. You may find yourself awakened at unusual hours with words, visions, or inner impressions. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Write them down, for they are messages encoded with direction. These are your spiritual blueprints for what comes next. The Lord is saying, I am downloading wisdom for dominion. What you will build next, whether it be in family, career, or ministry, will carry eternal impact. Archangel Michael stands ready to guard what is being birthed through you. But take heed. This is not the time to look backward. The enemy's last tactic is to remind you of what failed, hoping you will doubt what is forming. Refuse to be drawn into regret. The past is a closed door that no longer requires your attention. Your focus must remain on the unfolding glory ahead. Every ounce of your pain is about to serve a purpose so divine that even your enemies will stand in awe. Stay here, because what comes next will reveal the mystery of divine timing and why the release had to wait until the spiritual atmosphere of your life was purified. The next revelation will be one that changes how you see your entire journey. Type I embrace my refining in the comments if this truth burns within your spirit. Blessing code 7770 has just been released over every heart that accepts heaven's process. Beloved flame of the Most High, there comes a sacred moment in every divine story when heaven's silence breaks and the promise that was whispered in secret begins to echo in reality. You are standing in that very threshold. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword not in battle, but in proclamation. The war has been won, and now the banner of victory waves above your destiny. What you are about to witness is the visible unfolding of everything you once prayed for in the dark. The wind of fulfillment has started to move, and though you may not see it yet, you will soon feel its undeniable pull around every part of your life. The Lord says, the hour of unveiling has come. For many of you, this means relationships, assignments, and opportunities that once dissolved are about to return, not as they were, but as they were meant to be. God never restores to the original form. He restores with multiplication. When He brings something back, it returns redeemed, refined, and radiant. The Spirit of God is weaving your narrative into something larger than your understanding. Archangel Michael is standing over the process, ensuring that no counterfeit blessing sneaks in during the release. Every false connection that tried to mimic divine purpose has been exposed and removed. You may begin to feel an urgency in your heart, a restlessness that pushes you out of comfort zones. Do not resist it. That is heaven repositioning you into the exact place where your promise can locate you. The old patterns, environments, and even certain friendships cannot sustain the weight of your coming elevation. Archangel Michael is guiding a divine relocation, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You are being moved into alignment with the coordinates of your destiny. Some will change cities, others will change circles, and many will change their mindset completely. The transition may feel uncomfortable, but it is sacred. This new phase will also demand discernment over your words. Speak only what aligns with heaven's decree. Complaining, doubting, and comparing yourself to others will delay what is already set in motion. Your tongue is a prophetic tool. Use it to build, not to bind. The angels move by declaration, and when you speak in faith, they respond with speed. Archangel Michael has declared, Your words are building bridges for heaven to cross. Speak life, and watch the supernatural become natural in your everyday world. And now comes the mystery. Why did God wait until now? Because the version of you that stands here today is not the same as the one who started the journey. You have been shaped by obedience, refined by waiting, and crowned with understanding. Heaven could not release the promise to who you were, but it can release it now to who you have become. You are ready. The very waiting that once broke your heart has now made you trustworthy for what is coming. Wait until you hear what is revealed next. It will explain the hidden role you played in this celestial plan, one you didn't even know you were part of. What unfolds next will leave you breathless with awe. Type "I am ready" for release in the comments if your heart bears witness to this word. Blessing code 8891 is now released upon those entering divine unveiling. Chosen light of heaven. The moment of unveiling is not coming. It is already here. The atmosphere around your spirit has shifted, and even the unseen world recognizes that your time of hiding has ended. Archangel Michael stands beside you, radiant in his strength, holding the scroll that bears your name. It has been unsealed by the command of God himself. The promise that was once a whisper in your prayers has now been proclaimed in heaven's courtroom. What you are about to experience will not be subtle. It will come suddenly, decisively, and unmistakably. The long night is over, and dawn has broken in your favor. But hear this truth: every divine unveiling carries a moment of testing. Before every great manifestation, there comes a spiritual trembling meant to confirm your readiness. That is why, even now, some of you may feel unexpected pressure or confusion. Do not mistake this for delay. It is heaven's final adjustment. The weight of your promise requires exact alignment. Archangel Michael says, "You are standing on sacred ground." Every vibration in your life is heaven setting things in order. You will feel old emotions resurface, old habits tested, and old fears trying to return. But they are not here to destroy you. They are surfacing so that you can defeat them once and for all. There is also a sacred urgency resting upon this message. The Spirit of God is calling you to rise and take your position as one of His chosen witnesses on earth. What happens in your life next will serve as proof that God still moves mountains. Your story is about to become a living testimony. Do not shrink from this moment, for you were prepared for this very unveiling. Archangel Michael's sword now gleams not with battle light, but with the reflection of your victory. He has fought the unseen wars, dismantled the barriers, and cleared the spiritual air above you. Now it is your turn to step into what heaven has completed. The things that once terrified you will now testify for you. The same storm that once tried to drown you will now carry your boat to shore. You are not walking into uncertainty, you are walking into fulfillment. Every thread of pain had been woven into divine design. You will soon see that even your losses were part of God's mathematics of redemption. Nothing was wasted. Heaven wastes nothing. This is the moment to stand in your authority. Speak boldly the word that God places in your mouth. Archangel Michael stands ready to enforce it. Declare over your family, your home, your calling, and your health that divine order is established. You are no longer a seeker of promise. You are now its carrier. And as you step forward, watch as people drawn to your light begin to find their own healing through your testimony. Hold on a little longer, for the next revelation will unveil the prophetic responsibility that comes with receiving your promise. Heaven gives not only to bless but to commission. What you are about to learn will redefine what it means to be chosen. Type "I stand in my release" in the comments if this word burns within your spirit. Blessing code 9917 hath been released for those stepping into unveiled victory. Now, Beloved, if this message has reached deep into your spirit, take a moment to lift it higher. Like, share, and comment to keep this divine message flowing across the earth. Subscribe to this channel so the next word of revelation reaches you in divine timing, never late, never lost. Beloved child of destiny, this channel is more than a voice. It is a vessel through which heaven speaks. Every message you hear here carries the breath of divine assignment, wakening hearts across nations. When you choose to sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a person. You are activating heaven's flow over countless lives. God says, "Those who water the roots of my word will harvest the rain of my glory." This is that rain. I personally invite you to partner with Archangel Michael's mission to release the sound of truth where darkness has silenced hope. Your seed becomes a declaration. Your offering becomes oil that fuels the fire of revelation. Do not delay, for obedience opens the gates of supernatural favor. Give now, and may your hands never know lack in the season of divine release. Beloved keeper of divine mysteries, there are moments in heaven's timeline when the earth must pause, because something sacred is unfolding through the life of one who refused to quit. That is what is happening with you right now. Archangel Michael has sounded a heavenly decree. Your perseverance has reached the courts of glory, and your faith has been recorded as victory. You stood when others surrendered. You believed when logic failed, and because of that, the scales of divine justice have tipped in your favor. Heaven's clock now strikes the hour of fulfillment. Every promise God made to you has begun to breathe, and every word once spoken in faith is returning with completion. Archangel Michael says, the promise is now walking toward you. Do not mistake the shaking around you for chaos. It is birth. The tension you feel is the sound of heaven making room for what was sealed for this time. This release is not just about blessing. It is about positioning. God is placing you where your presence becomes prophetic proof that He still performs His word. Every door that closed was merely redirecting you to the one door that carries your name. And now, that door is opening. When you walk through it, everything that resisted you will bow. Understand this, child of divine purpose. This new season demands a higher vibration of faith. You cannot enter it with the same mindset that carried you through survival. The time for survival is over. The time for dominion has begun. The oil that heaven poured over you in the wilderness was never meant for endurance alone. It was meant for rulership. You were refined not to remain silent but to establish order where confusion once ruled. Archangel Michael stands behind you as heaven's enforcer, ensuring that every divine decree you speak comes to pass without interference. In this season, you will also notice divine acceleration. What once took years will now take weeks. The delay was in the preparation, but now that heaven's alignment is complete, the flow will be unstoppable. God is saying, I am redeeming your time. Lost opportunities will reappear. Relationships once broken will return in purity. And even financial structures that once failed will be rebuilt upon divine foundation. Nothing will remain as it was. Everything will evolve under the breath of fulfillment. But with this acceleration comes responsibility. You must guard your atmosphere with intention. The enemy cannot steal what is yours anymore, but he will attempt to distract you from nurturing it. Be vigilant. Protect your peace as sacred ground. Do not allow noise, negativity, or doubt to pollute your space of manifestation. This is holy territory now. Heaven's hand is resting on everything connected to you. What comes next is the revelation of your divine assignment, the purpose behind every battle, the reason why you endured what you did. You will understand that your promise was never just for personal blessing. It was training for divine impact. Stay with me, for the next unveiling will show you that your life carries a calling that reaches far beyond your own story. Type "I step into dominion" in the comments if your spirit witnesses this true. Blessing code 1004 has now been activated over those walking in divine fulfillment. Beloved guardian of promise, the time has come for the deeper revelation. The miracles, the answered prayers, and the restoration you are beginning to witness are not the conclusion. They are the commencement of your divine assignment. Archangel Michael has made it known in heaven's council that you are not merely a recipient of blessing but a vessel of purpose. What you endured was not random. It was a sacred curriculum. Every heartbreak, every delay, every door that shut in your face was shaping a warrior who would carry light into territory still shadowed by doubt and fear. The testing was never meant to destroy. It was to build the authority you now carry. The promise was always about transformation, not possession. You were not called just to receive what was promised, but to become what was promised. God says, "I have made you the fulfillment of my word." When you speak, others will feel deliverance stirring in their spirit. When you move, heaven will move with you. Archangel Michael now walks beside you not as a rescuer but as a partner in divine commission. The same sword that once fought for you is now being placed in your spiritual hand. You have graduated from waiting to warring on behalf of others. Many around you will begin to be drawn to your peace. Strangers will approach you for counsel, and people who once rejected you will return, seeking the very wisdom that came from your suffering. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. It is divine orchestration. God has turned your pain into prophecy. You are the answer to prayers you did not even know were being spoken. Your presence is becoming a portal of healing, and Archangel Michael is standing guard to ensure the flow of divine power remains pure. However, with such calling comes sacred caution. Not everyone can walk with you into this next dimension. There will be those who try to attach themselves to your new light out of curiosity or envy. Archangel Michael instructs, "Discern connection, my spirit, not by familiarity." Those who truly belong will bring peace, not pressure. It will amplify your purpose, not drain your strength. God is surrounding you with a circle of divine assignment, people whose presence carries heaven's sound. Guard that circle as holy ground. And now, something greater is being revealed, the reason why heaven chose this exact time to release your promise. The world is entering an hour of awakening, and your voice, your testimony, your anointing is part of that global shift. You are not late, you are timed for impact. Heaven hid you until the appointed moment because the generation you were born to reach is ready to hear your sound. The divine alignment of your life is the signal that heaven's plan is in motion. Stay tuned, for the next revelation will uncover the magnitude of this heavenly partnership. You will understand why Archangel Michael himself was assigned to your name and how his mission is tied to your calling on earth. The insight that follows is one that few are entrusted with, and it will change the way you see your destiny forever. Type "I am the fulfillment of His word" in the comments if this message bears witness in your spirit. Blessing code 1123 has just been released over all who accept their divine assignment. Chosen flame of divine destiny, you are stepping into the realm where revelation meets responsibility. Archangel Michael stands in radiant stillness beside you, his presence now less like a protector and more like a mentor. The battles you once fought are no longer external. They have shifted inward, becoming matters of discernment, alignment, and stewardship. You are no longer simply being defended. You are being entrusted. The heavens recognize your maturity, and as a result, new levels of authority are being written into your spiritual record. This is why your environment feels different, why people respond to you differently. why even your thoughts carry weight in the unseen realm. Heaven has recognized that your voice now shapes outcomes. There is a profound secret unfolding. The promise was never the destination. It was the activation. What God has placed in your hands is not just a blessing but a key. Every answered prayer, every open door, every moment of restoration is a tool for building what comes next. You were not chosen merely to receive light, but to become a lighthouse. The radiance that surrounds you now is not ornamental, it is functional. You are meant to draw others out of darkness, to awaken dormant faith, to remind the lost that divine mercy is still alive in the earth. Archangel Michael's presence in your story confirms this truth. Where others saw survival, heaven saw commissioning. But now comes the sacred challenge. How will you steward what has been released? The spiritual promotion you've entered demands focus. The distractions that once entertained you will now irritate your spirit because they no longer align with your frequency. Archangel Michael warns, beware of spiritual fatigue. The enemy cannot destroy what is sealed by God, but he can dull the flame through weariness. Protect your peace like it is prophecy, for it is. Rest is not absence of faith, it is trust in divine continuity. The same God who moved yesterday is still moving today, even while you breathe in silence. This is also the time to release what no longer fits. Some of you are being called to new assignments, geographical shifts, creative expressions, or spiritual responsibilities you once feared. Step forward without hesitation. God's instruction will often stretch your comfort, but never your capacity. What feels overwhelming now will soon become your rhythm. Archangel Michael stands behind every obedient step, ensuring the path unfolds with precision. He whispers, every step you take in obedience creates a pathway for another soul to find freedom. You will begin to sense divine multiplication. The influence that once seemed small will suddenly expand. Words you speak will travel farther, works you do will impact deeper, and peace you carry will heal faster. This is the ripple effect of obedience, one act of faith creating waves in eternity. Heaven delights in those who carry their calling with humility, and your quiet endurance has made you heaven's ambassador of faithfulness. Stay near, for the next revelation will unveil the final truth, why God waited until now to give you this message and how your obedience is unlocking generational blessings. You are about to witness not just personal fulfillment, but a legacy written in the language of eternity. Type "I am a lighthouse of heaven" in the comments if this message stirs your spirit. Blessing code 1244 has now been activated for all who walk in this divine awakening. Beloved vessel of eternal promise, this is the hour heaven had been waiting for, the moment of full revelation. Everything you have heard, every whisper of Archangel Michael, every confirmation sent through dreams or divine signs, has been leading to this truth. You were never being prepared just for a personal blessing, but for a generational purpose. The trials that nearly broke you were not random storms, they were holy initiation. Heaven was testing not just your endurance but your trustworthiness with divine inheritance. Now the scroll that bears your name has been sealed again, not because the story has ended, but because it is now written into the eternal archives of fulfillment. You have become the living testimony of what happens when faith refuses to die. Archangel Michael stands before you, his countenance radiant with triumph. His assignment concerning your release is complete, yet his partnership with your purpose continues. He declares, you are now the guardian of your promise. What God entrusted to you must now move through you. This is the season when the blessed become the blessing, when the healed become healers, when the restored become restorers. Your life is now a portal through which heaven's mercy flows. You carry a frequency that shifts atmospheres, a voice that cuts through despair, and a light that darkness cannot silence. That is why you survived, so that through you, others would see that God still fulfills His word. The time for hiding is over. Heaven is commissioning you to speak boldly, to act with divine courage, and to live with unwavering conviction. This is not pride, it is obedience. The world does not need perfection, it needs presence. Your presence. When you walk into a room, Archangel Michael walks with you. When you speak truth, the angelic host stands behind your words. When you forgive, you release the same power that set you free. Every step you take from this moment forward becomes prophecy in motion. But do not forget this sacred instruction. Guard the promise through purity. The higher you rise, the greater your call to humility. Let gratitude remain your foundation, and let discernment remain your shield. You will notice that favor now flows toward you easily, almost effortlessly. That is the evidence that heaven's order has been established. Yet the purpose of favor is not comfort, it is impact. The blessings you receive are assignments in disguise, each one calling you to demonstrate heaven's nature on earth. And now God speaks through this message with finality. The waiting is over. The word has been fulfilled. What I promised you in secret, I now reveal in public. You are stepping into the fulfillment of prophecy. The same God who whispered your name in heaven has now placed His hand upon your destiny. You are the manifestation of divine faithfulness. Every loss, every story, every delay had been redeemed. The circle is complete. Before you go, take this moment to seal the revelation. Type "I have received my promise" in the comments. Blessing code 1500 has been released for those walking in completed fulfillment. Like this message, share it with every heart still waiting for their miracle, and subscribe so that no divine revelation passes you by. This is how the light spreads, through the faith of the awakened. Beloved bearer of divine victory, this word has reached you not by coincidence, but by calling. Archangel Michael's message on this channel is part of heaven's assignment to awaken faith, restore hope, and release divine alignment across the earth. When you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a platform. You are expanding the reach of prophecy. God says, "Those who sow into my voice shall reap under open heavens." Your seed today becomes a key that unlocks freedom for countless souls. This is not a donation. It is a declaration that you stand with the light. As you release your offering, may the oil of multiplication fall upon your household. Let your giving be your prophecy, and your obedience be your victory. Sow now, and watch heaven pour abundance where there was once drought.